This might look like the Gen X version of kissing babies and sampling pie at the county fair.
Thank you so much. Hi, how are you? On a beautiful day in Uptown.
City Council Vice President Aisha Chughtai is stumping for re-election, riding in a cargo bike for a podcast interview.
Hi.
Chughtai might talk the talk of a young Democrat, but Aisha Chughtai is not your grandmother's Democrat. Chughtai belongs to the Democratic Socialists of America, the DSA.
The socialists have been using the endorsement of the Democratic Party to get people elected that do not represent the agenda of the Democratic Party. And that's really the fundamental problem.
Dr. Carol Becker is editor of the Minneapolis Times online paper. Becker says the socialist platform is radically different from that of Minnesota's Democratic Party.
Somebody asked me recently, are you a Democrat? And I said, nationally, yes, locally, no. Because right now what has happened with the Democratic Party in Minneapolis is that the socialists have taken it over.
Some of the DSA's stated goals over the past 4 years include abolishing prisons, courts, and even the police, putting large corporations under public ownership, making health care and utilities government-controlled, and replacing capitalism. And even though the socialists have no problem using the Democratic Party as a means to their end, they want to eventually replace the Democratic Party.
And today they're very much inside the tent, but they're trying to push out what would have been that traditional Democrat.
Mike Erlandson's a former chair of the state Democratic Farmer Labor Party. He says many Democrats rely solely on the DFL endorsement, not realizing what some of those DFL candidates really stand for. It's a concern that not all DFL members share.
Assigning this kind of Red Scare label to any progressive Democrat, that they're a socialist, and that's a scary thing, I think misunderstands what city politics even is.
For business owner and former Minneapolis DFL vice chair Mike Norton, socialist candidates simply represent the far left flank of the Democrats' big tent.
You know, maybe I don't fully agree with everything the DSA puts forward, but I like that they want to move. I like that they're not happy with the status quo.
Although the DSA does not qualify as a political party in this state, here are just some of the questions this year's candidates had to answer to get the Twin Cities socialist endorsement. Do you oppose increases to the current police budget? Would you pursue the creation of a city-owned bank and establishment of city-owned grocery stores? And do you support the implementation of a strong rent control policy? And do you support requiring carbon-free heating in all residential buildings owned by large landlords within 5 years?
This is a resolution relating to the dual endorsement by the DFL and the Democratic Socialists of America.
This was a resolution brought before a precinct caucus in Minneapolis last spring. It was based on concerns that the DSA is, in reality, functioning as a separate political party.
Therefore, it shall be resolved that any candidate for municipal office in Minneapolis, Minnesota, who has been endorsed or recommended by the DSA shall be disqualified from seeking the endorsement of the DFL party.
Despite support for the proposal here, credible sources tell us executive DFL leadership, sympathetic to the DSA, never brought it up for a vote at the DFL convention. So how did a socialist group with its own endorsement process and such a radical agenda gain ground inside the Minneapolis DFL party? Becker says the DSA tells its members to build coalitions with liberal Democrats by using shared principles, even though they may disagree with them on other issues. In Minneapolis, the death of George Floyd instantly created a shared cause, especially with progressives.
Our commitment is to end our city's toxic relationship with the Minneapolis Police Department.
Critics also point to the shortcomings of Minneapolis's caucus process, which requires participants to commit hours, sometimes days, to the process, and as few as 200 people determining the endorsements for the DFL.
The problem is that so few people participate today, and the participation rate is not representative of the city, right?
The result, DSA-endorsed candidates have shifted the balance of power on the Minneapolis City Council. There are enough progressive DFL members aligned with socialists to create a veto-proof majority and set the city's agenda.
The result of that has been a city that doesn't work well for all the people.
There's just a slew of rules and regulations that are making it almost impossible for businesses to be here, and they're leaving. If you are a landlord, it's now impossible for you to get rid of a bad tenant.
We have the landlord lobby investing a significant amount of resources to my opponent.
Businesses are evil? Property owners are evil? Wait a minute. Everybody works for somebody, even if they work for themselves, right?
But Mike Norton says these so-called radical changes are what the people want.
The council members that are there now represent their wards and represent the viewpoint of the voters within their wards.
This is the pedestrian, bike, and
Capital.
transit ward.
Like, it's the capital of the city, you know?
Take, for example, Aisha Chughtai ward, where the city council passed a veto-proof transportation plan in 2022, with Chughtai strongly pushing for it. The result? Automobile traffic on parts of Hennepin Avenue is reduced to single lanes in each direction. Parking has been removed for bikes and buses.
Biking has declined since 1980. We want more transit. Well, transit has declined 50% since 2015. Are we going to get people to jobs?
I'm just so proud of this two-way bike path.
Oh, you're proud of it?
And then you see it and you're like, wow, it was worth the sacrifice.
Should we talk about how you don't ride a bicycle, or is that like not interesting to talk about?
We can talk about it.
We don't have to talk about it.
I just never ended up learning.
And while the people in Chughtai ward might have wanted these bike lanes and more buses, businesses in the area were adamantly opposed to that plan.
Business people have to make a living, right? Or they can't stay open. If you drive on Hennepin Avenue, you see countless storefronts that are abandoned and empty.
The irony is not lost on Becker. The socialists say they champion the working class, but Becker points out, what good does that do if there's no place to work?
We know that socialism doesn't produce jobs. If you want to help poor people, we need jobs.
Do we have things in place to like help businesses when streets get reconstructed?
The program is funded. It is being cut in the mayor's budget this year, and it has yet to be implemented.
For many business owners, that help will come too late. As for the effect all this has on Minneapolis, Becker says voters need to help themselves.
My call to action is that people need to understand that Democrat and DFL does not mean what it used to mean, and that they're going to have to educate themselves on what they actually want in a candidate and what those candidates actually represent. The fight for the soul of the Democratic Party is being fought out here in Minneapolis. Are we going to go farther left and more extreme, or are we going to go to more moderate solutions? Practical solutions, simple things,